Right now, somewhere out in the darkness beyond our planet, a massive object is quietly moving along a path that will bring it closer to Earth than almost anything scientists have ever tracked in advance. It is not a rumor. It is not a theory. It is a real, confirmed asteroid, one large enough to level a city, and it is heading straight for a moment that astronomers are calling one of the most significant events in the history of modern astronomy. Its name is Apophis, and what scientists have discovered about its upcoming approach is unlike anything humanity has ever prepared for. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why space agencies around the world are treating this event as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and why some of the smartest scientists on the planet were genuinely worried about this object just a few short years ago. Apophis was first discovered back in 2004 by astronomers at the Kitt Peak National Observatory in Arizona. From the very beginning, something about this asteroid stood out. Early calculations suggested there was a real measurable chance that it could actually strike Earth, not someday in the distant future, not in some abstract, far-off scenario. Scientists initially calculated a 2.7% chance of impact in the year 2029. Now, 2.7% might sound small, but in the world of planetary defense, that number is absolutely terrifying. It was high enough that scientists gave this asteroid a name pulled directly from Egyptian mythology, Apophis, the god of chaos and destruction. For years, this object sat near the top of every impact risk list ever created, forcing astronomers to dedicate an enormous amount of time and resources toward tracking its exact trajectory with as much precision as humanly possible. As more observations came in, using increasingly advanced radar and optical telescopes, scientists were finally able to rule out any chance of impact for at least the next 100 years. That should have been the end of the story. A dangerous object, identified, studied, and safely ruled out. But instead, something even more remarkable emerged from all that tracking data. While Apophis will not hit Earth, it is going to come closer to our planet than almost any object of its size in recorded human history, and it is going to happen in a way that scientists can actually watch unfold in real time. To put that into perspective, that is closer than many of the satellites currently orbiting our planet in geosynchronous orbit. It is more than 11 times closer to Earth than the Moon. Scientists have stated plainly that an asteroid this large, passing this close to our planet, is an event that occurs, on average, only once every few thousand years. Given how long humanity has existed and how recently we developed the technology capable of tracking something like this in advance, researchers believe this may be the very first time in all of recorded human history that an event like this has ever been observed happening. Let that sink in for a moment. A massive asteroid, large enough to be genuinely dangerous, is about to pass closer to Earth than our own communication satellites, and we are going to see it coming years in advance, track every second of its approach, and watch it happen with our own eyes. Apophis measures somewhere between 350 and 450 meters across, often compared in size to the Eiffel Tower lying on its side. It is made of ancient material left over from the earliest days of our solar system, material that never quite came together to form a planet or a moon, drifting through space for over 4.5 billion years before finally making its way toward this extraordinary encounter with Earth. When Apophis makes its closest approach, it will actually become visible to the naked eye without the need for a telescope or even a pair of binoculars for viewers across large portions of Europe, Africa, and Asia. Skywatchers will be able to look up and see a massive ancient asteroid drifting silently across the night sky, a sight that has genuinely never been witnessed by human civilization before under these exact conditions. Scientists describe this as a rare, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, not just for casual observers, but for the entire field of planetary science. If a story like this genuinely fascinates you, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because what scientists are planning to do during this flyby is just as incredible as the event itself. Space agencies around the world are not simply planning to watch Apophis pass by. They are preparing an unprecedented, coordinated scientific effort to study it up close using every tool available. NASA's OSIRIS-APEX spacecraft, originally launched under a different mission name, has already been redirected specifically to rendezvous with Apophis, arriving shortly after its closest approach to Earth in order to begin an extended 18-month mission studying the asteroid in extraordinary detail. This spacecraft will map its surface, monitor any physical changes caused by Earth's gravity during the flyby, and analyze its chemical composition using instruments capable of revealing secrets about the earliest material that ever existed in our solar system. That detail alone raises one of the most fascinating scientific questions surrounding this entire event. As Apophis passes so close to Earth, our planet's gravity is expected to exert a measurable pull on the asteroid itself. Scientists believe this close encounter could actually trigger subtle but detectable changes to the asteroid's surface, potentially causing landslides, shifting terrain, or even minor seismic activity across its rocky exterior. In other words, Earth's gravity may physically reshape this ancient asteroid in real time, and thanks to the timing of coordinated satellite and ground-based observations, scientists will be watching closely enough to actually document it happening. Ground-based observatories around the world are also preparing extensive radar and optical tracking campaigns, timed specifically around the flyby. Radar scientists have stated that their instruments will be capable of resolving surface details on the asteroid down to just a few meters in size, an incredible level of precision for an object located so far from Earth under normal circumstances. Because Apophis will pass so unusually close during this event, scientists are essentially being handed a rare, natural opportunity to study an asteroid with a level of detail that would normally require an expensive, dedicated space mission just to achieve. Understanding exactly how asteroids like Apophis behave, how their orbits shift over time, and how close encounters with Earth's gravity affect their structure is absolutely critical for humanity's ability to protect itself from future threats. Every asteroid discovered, similar in size to Apophis, is treated with serious caution, since an impact from an object this large could cause catastrophic, widespread destruction if it were ever to strike a populated area. Studying a real-world event like this flyby gives scientists priceless data that could one day help protect the entire planet. It is also worth remembering just how recently humanity developed the ability to detect threats like this in the first place. For most of human history, an object the size of Apophis could have approached Earth with absolutely no warning whatsoever. Ancient civilizations, and even relatively modern ones, would have had no way of knowing something like this was coming until it was already visible in the sky, and by then, it would have been far too late to do anything about it. The fact that we identified Apophis decades in advance, calculated its exact trajectory, ruled out any danger, and are now preparing an entire coordinated scientific campaign around its approach represents an enormous leap forward in our ability to understand and monitor the space surrounding our planet. Some researchers have pointed out that events like this also serve as an important reminder. While Apophis itself poses no danger, the fact that an object this size can pass this close to Earth demonstrates just how much material continues to move through our solar system on trajectories that intersect with our own planet's orbit. Every year, astronomers continue discovering new, near-Earth objects, some large, some small, each one a reminder that our solar system is far more crowded and far more dynamic than most people ever realized looking up at a seemingly calm and empty night sky. As the date of the flyby continues to approach, expect to hear a great deal more about Apophis in the coming months and years. Space agencies are expected to release increasingly detailed tracking updates, and public interest is likely to grow significantly as the event draws closer, especially once viewing guides and visibility maps become available for skywatchers hoping to catch a glimpse of this ancient traveler with their own eyes. For scientists, this is not simply a spectacle to be watched from a distance. It is a rare, invaluable opportunity to study one of the most dangerous categories of object in our solar system under conditions that may not repeat again for centuries. Let's take a closer look at exactly why this particular flyby is so different from the countless other asteroid close approaches that happen every single year. Small asteroids pass near Earth constantly. Car-sized rocks slip through our neighborhood on an almost weekly basis, and school bus-sized objects pass by several times a year, most of them completely unnoticed by anyone outside the scientific community. What makes Apophis fundamentally different is its scale. This is not a small, harmless rock. This is a genuinely massive object, one capable of causing regional devastation if it were ever to strike a populated area. And objects of this size passing this close to Earth are, according to scientists, an event that happens only once every few thousand years on average. That rarity is exactly why space agencies have been preparing for this moment for years, long before the asteroid ever gets close. Telescopes around the world have already begun coordinating observation schedules months in advance, ensuring that as many instruments as possible are pointed in the right direction at exactly the right moment. Radar facilities are preparing detailed imaging campaigns designed to capture the asteroid's shape, surface texture, and rotational behavior with a level of clarity that has rarely, if ever, been achieved for an object this size under natural flyby conditions. There is also a fascinating scientific mystery buried within this event that researchers are eager to solve. Because Apophis has a slightly elongated peanut-like shape, scientists are especially curious about how Earth's gravity will interact with an object that is not perfectly round. Uneven gravitational pull across an irregularly shaped body could produce unusual stresses on its surface, and some researchers believe this could lead to visible changes, shifting dust, minor tremors, or even small landslides across portions of the asteroid as it swings past our planet. If that happens, it would mark one of the only times in history that scientists have directly observed a planet's gravity physically reshaping an asteroid in real time, rather than simply theorizing about the possibility using computer models. The involvement of NASA's OSIRIS-APEX spacecraft adds an entirely new layer of scientific opportunity to this event. Originally sent to study a completely different asteroid earlier in its mission, the spacecraft was cleverly redirected to take advantage of Apophis's historic flyby, arriving shortly afterward to begin an extended close-range study of the asteroid using instruments capable of measuring its composition, structure, and any physical changes caused by its encounter with Earth. This kind of before and after study, comparing detailed data collected prior to the flyby with fresh observations gathered immediately afterward, gives scientists an incredibly rare opportunity to directly measure how a close planetary encounter affects an asteroid's physical characteristics. Beyond the scientific value, there is something deeply humbling about an event like this. For nearly all of human history, our ancestors lived beneath a sky filled with objects moving through space completely unnoticed, unseen, and unpredictable. Massive asteroids could have passed close to Earth at any point throughout history, and there would have been no way for anyone to know it was happening until it was already visible overhead. The fact that modern astronomers can now calculate the exact trajectory of an object like Apophis years in advance, down to remarkable precision, represents one of the great quiet achievements of modern science, one that rarely gets the attention it deserves outside of moments exactly like this one. As the countdown to April 2029 continues, scientists expect public interest to grow substantially, especially as detailed viewing guides and visibility maps are released closer to the event, allowing skywatchers around the world to properly prepare for a genuinely rare opportunity to witness a large asteroid crossing the night sky without any special equipment at all. For casual observers, it will simply be an unforgettable sight. For scientists, it will be the culmination of years of preparation and the beginning of an entirely new chapter in humanity's understanding of the ancient, rocky travelers that continue to drift silently through our solar system. It is also worth noting that Apophis is far from the only object planetary defense teams are currently tracking. Every year, survey telescopes across the globe discover thousands of new near-Earth objects, ranging from small, harmless rocks to occasionally larger bodies that require careful monitoring. Most of these objects pass by at safe distances, often millions of miles away, drawing little public attention outside of scientific circles. Apophis stands apart specifically because of the rare combination of its size and its unusually close distance, a pairing that, according to researchers, may not occur again for centuries. That is precisely why agencies like NASA and the European Space Agency have invested so heavily in preparing for this single event, treating it not as a routine flyby, but as a genuinely historic opportunity that future generations of astronomers may look back on as a defining moment in planetary science. So mark your calendar, because on April 13th, 2029, an ancient asteroid older than the Earth itself is going to pass closer to our planet than our own satellites, visible to the naked eye across much of the world, while an international fleet of scientists, telescopes, and spacecraft watch every single second of its journey unfold. If you want to stay updated on everything scientists discover as this historic flyby approaches, make sure you are subscribed, because this is one story you will not want to miss.